If you like this video, make sure to visit our Vimeo page and follow us to get the latest update.
So this will be agenda for today. We'll be covering these following topics: what exactly is CIG, what all deployment option that is provided by CIG once we go for a client implementation, and why exactly CIG came into picture when we had already this CP or PIP or CNI integration methodology that was already being used, and mostly these that was vastly used by all the customers. Then why exactly CIG came into picture? And I will quickly show you the basic setup that is needed on Ariba CIG side. I will be everything today because that will be taking time. So just show you how exactly you can set it in your CIG configuration, and then we'll also talk about add-on, the add-on or the box add-on that is provided for CIG integration. So all those apps that you download and install in SAP system. So these apps I'll be covering. On weekend I don't have access to SAP system. So if we start from Monday, we can have this SAP system also. I will also demonstrate what all things are needed from SAP side. But on week, I will be just showing you today on the CIG and on the Ariba side. So yeah, so let me just quickly go into the CIG part. Yeah, so CIG and for cloud integration, you can understand this application as a set of Ariba's, sorry, cloud platform integration. So it is built or powered by that cloud platform integration only, and it is built in such a way that it is only capable, or it has been built in such a way that it is actually used or only used it Ariba solution backend SAP and SAP ARIBA for HANA system. But when you consider bigger in CPI, we can have any information that is in CPI. But in case of CIG, this build has been built in such a way, or in this built in user-friendly way. The integration can be only limited to these two solutions, so that we has to go to other place to have other application to integrate these both solutions. So this has been built in such a way that you can integrate, or this will be one-stop solution for your integration related to your Ariba and backend S/4HANA system. Plus other user modules or the UI that is provided by Ariba CIG is quite friendly, and even a functional consultant or anybody who's quite new to this integration area will be able to easily grasp or easily configure this thing by looking at itself on the CIG application. And apart from that, this CIG application is evolving day by day. So till today, this application is capable of integrating all the Ariba modules with the backend S4, HANA, S4 HANA on cloud, ERP ECC, and for today, it's not able to integrate any non-SAP system. That may come in the future, but for today, this has been evolving, and maybe it might happen that in upcoming releases or in upcoming year, CIG gets so much mature that it will be able to also integrate non-SAP system with Ariba. And apart from that, while this product was launched, there was no such option available to customize the interface. But now, since the product is also evolving, now you have this custom mapping tool or custom mapping tool, custom routing tool application that is available there, using which you can also customize your interface. Initially, for all the basic enhancement, be it a single one-to-one field mapping in Ariba CIG, you have to depend on Ariba team, that is Ariba support team or engineering team, to get it done. But now they have also provided you this Ariba custom mapping tool, using which you can uh, customize your interface according to your requirement and as per your customer thing. And apart from that, you have this feature that is monitoring, and other features that is also provided by Ariba CIG. In this case, if you have done the implementation using Ariba CI9 interface, in that case, we have to install every add-on on the ERP side as well as on SAP PIPO system. But in this case, since Ariba CIG is a cloud-based application, only thing you have to do the installation is into your respective backend ERP system, and those data will be synced to your Ariba CIG. So you don't have to install add-on if the add-on is upgrading from one version to other. So everything you have to do it in the ERP system only, not in the Ariba CIG. Though that will be though the information will be transmitted automatically from ERP to Ariba CIG. So that way, it also saves a lot of time and also reduce our effort in terms of configuration of Ariba CIG. Let me just quickly go into Ariba CIG. One more thing to add here, Ariba CIG, you cannot access CIG using URL and an username and password. It is always single sign-on enable that you can always navigate CIG either from your sourcing system or from your procurement or from your Ariba network. We will see how exactly we'll be enabling that. But for now, I will just show you how exactly I will be navigating to Ariba CIG from my procurement solution or buyer. So, okay. So I'm in the integration manager. I will go into cloud integration gateway. So this is already enabled. My data center is Europe, and I will just go into fine. So if in here, what you see, this is a cloud integration gateway UI, or this is the application from where you will be configuring everything related to your integration prospect. So if you see here, we have so many tools that is provided by Ariba CIG. The basic tool that you most of you guys might have used here is a transaction tracker. So this is a place from where you can see what all messages went in and out, what all messages were exported, imported into ERP system. So this is the place from where you can monitor all your transaction, whether why some transaction is failing, what the status of that invoice that you have sent from Ariba network or from Ariba procurement, what the status of these messages. So you can come to this transaction tracker and you can basically see what is the status of that particular message. So this is one of the most important tool that is provided by Ariba CIG. In case you have to just come into one solution and click on transaction tracker, and you can see, okay, my invoice is now successfully processed, or it is failed there because of some so and so reason. So if, for example, if I see this one, this has failed because it says like cloud connector configuration is not complete. So basically, I will understand that there's something related to cloud connector that's not available, and I need to check on that particular thing. Basically, by seeing this transaction tracker, you can understand the nature of error message, and accordingly you can take action, be it from Ariba side, or if this is a data issue, connectivity issue. So all those things are provided through transaction tracker. Now, if you come to home screen, you have so many things that is available here. From home screen, you can also create your integration project. So integration project is nothing but for implementing or for integrating these Ariba modules. Basically, you have all these Ariba modules are divided into three prospects. One will be your Ariba network, one will be your Ariba procurement, one will be your Ariba sourcing. So if you consider any interface, that will be a part of only these three products. Like, for example, if I talk about commerce automation for direct procurement, in that case, if I'm sending purchase order from ERP to Ariba network, that will come in as a part of Ariba network integration. So all interfaces that I will have to see there, that will be configured under this Ariba network project. Similarly, for Ariba procurement, be it a master data or transactional data, those all interfaces will be covered in Ariba procurement. Also, if you are talking about guided buying integration, also those kind of things will also come into Ariba procurement. So basically, if you have one backend system, and if you are planning to integrate all Ariba modules using single CIG, then you will have to create one project for Ariba network, one project for Ariba procurement, and one project for Ariba sourcing. That will cover all the interfaces that will be going in and out from Ariba CIG to ERP and also to Ariba system. So basically, these three product line are supported by uh, Ariba CIG, and this will cover all your scenario. Like, for example, but in case some customer, they just want to go for Ariba network integration, they don't want to have this procurement or sourcing site. So in that case, they can just create Ariba network, and they will enable this CIG from Ariba network. And in that case, they only need to create a project of type Ariba network, and that will cover all their integration interface. When I'm talking about interface, this is nothing but the document type that will be integrated from your ERP to your Ariba network, buyer and supplier, and from there to your respective backend system. So this is the place from where you can see what all project or what all project is already created, what all project you can create. So you have an option here from where you can basically create this integration project, and then you can create your connection and everything. Now coming to this configuration, again you'll see all these details here. That is a part of configuration. In the project you'll see what all project that you have created uh, under your integration cycle. So what all things you have created, you can see it here. The status is in testing phase. Once I will move that once everything is completed, then this can be moved from test to production. But this is my test or demo rel. So I'll not be moving it to production because I don't have production system linked to this. But into your real-time implementation, you'll have test as well as production system. So in that case, once everything is completed, you can quickly move this project from test to production, basically. And also, once you come into this part, connection, you have backend system detail that you can create or you can use while integrating with your backend system from Ariba CIG. So if I open this part, you'll see that this is basically the connection detail of to my backend ERP system. In case if you are integrating with multiple backend system, you'll have to create multiple backend system connection, and accordingly you have to use that connection in the project type. So if you see here, connect to backend system, document type is any, domain type, and everything is related to your backend system. So don't worry about that. We'll cover that in a while. So let me just quickly go into a PPT. And don't worry if you're not able to grasp everything in one go. We'll be covering this concept again and again so that you can understand this quickly. So why I was
Yes,
just showing,
you
yes,
you mentioned that trading partner, right? We are connecting with our ERP, correct? But in
yeah,
previous slide, you were talking about trading partner also.
trading partner.
Trading
Okay,
partner, yeah. The first point, right? Ariba,
yeah.
SAP Ariba solution backend system and trading partner.
Okay, so trading partner can be anything. That can be your SAP system that is using ERP to integrated solution,
Okay,
Ariba
or
solution.
supplier, right?
Yeah, it can be supplier also. It can be buyer, it can be supplier.
Okay,
Okay, so CIG is launched for both buyer as well as supplier, but in this case, we'll be covering mostly CIG integration for buyer, and for most of the implementation that you will go through, this will be CIG implementation for buyer only, not for supplier. But for some customers are also using CIG for supplier. That's a altogether different concept in which all the configuration is taken care by these supplier only. But the case that we are covering is we are enabling CIG on the buyer account, and also we are integrating with the supplier. Not we are enabling CIG on the supplier account, but rather we are enabling CIG on the buyer account.
okay. So generally, you go through the your network, right? Ariba network.
Exactly. So that again depends on scenario, what scenario you are trying to link. In case if you are talking about supply chain collaboration, then it will always be routed through Ariba network. If you're talking about Ariba sourcing integration also, so it will be always routed from your, if I just give you a quick overview of that. So if I talk about Ariba sourcing, so in that case, you'll have this RFQ document that you'll be creating from your ERP system, and then it will go into CIG based on the configuration that will be covering there. So from CIG, it will go into Ariba network buyer account, and based on document routing, this document will be sent to Ariba sourcing. And in Ariba sourcing, you'll see this RFQ as sourcing request.
Right.
So again, depends on interface to interface, depends on scenario to scenario. You you will see what exactly is coming, how exactly the document is interfacing between Ariba and ERP system.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So why I was showing you the previous screen on Ariba CIG, because these are some of the features that is provided by Ariba CIG. If you see here, self service setup wizard. So this is nothing but the basic wizard that is provided by Ariba CIG. In case, if you just click on integration project, if you remember with other integration application, be it a PI or be it a PIPO system, the interface is not that simpler, but you have to understand that application thoroughly, and your integration concept should be also good to configure the interface. Maybe it's a single, maybe it's a Java adapter, or maybe what kind of adapter. But in this case, this configuration is quite simpler. You don't have to worry about all those things. You have to just click on this integration project, create new integration project, and based on what modules you are looking to integrate, you have to create the select the product. Like for example, these three products are available in my system because I have enabled CIG from all three prospects: network, sourcing, and procurement. We'll see that how exactly we'll be enabling that. But for now, just understand that these three products are supported by Ariba. And if I just give some meaningful name here, Ariba Network. Okay, so you can see here we have the list of the steps that is already provided by this standard template. You have to just click on next. The next step will tell you if you want to create a new connection or if you want to reuse the existing connection. So all those things are available. And then you can go to next. Once I will select this, it won't allow me to save because I already have a project of the same type. Then you can go into next mapping. Since mapping is configure the runtime, or it is selected the runtime based on the version of add-on that you have imported into your ERP system. So this is not needed. Then you can find the cross reference. This is nothing but the value mapping between ERP and Ariba system. We'll see that once we start with the actual interface configuration. But yeah, if you see here, all these steps are already provided by Ariba CIG in the standard application. So you have to just make use of this particular thing, and you can navigate from one place to other, or navigate to next, and then you can complete that particular thing on the Ariba CIG. So this was not provided with any other integration application that was with PIPO or with CPA. That is firstly provided by CIG, and that's why I told you, even a functional consultant can easily configure this project, and they can set it up with the integration with the backend ERP system using Ariba module. Okay, so this is one of the advantage that we have seen. Let me just delete that, or maybe. Yeah. And apart from that, you see here, you have this connectivity tools, like for example, you have set up your connection and you want to see if your connection to backend system is working on that not. So you can just click on this one. Since my backend system is not available right now, it's showing 503. Once everything is available, it will say me that connection to backend system is established, and it will give me the proper response there. So this is one of the application that tool that is also provided by Ariba CIG. Once you set up your connection, you can also check and validate if your connection is working fine or not. And in the configuration, you have these things, mapping. So this is what I was talking about, that you have a custom mapping tool also available for your enhancement. In case if you are looking to have some sort of enhancement, you can go for this custom mapping tool. Like for example, I will just show you, not in detail, but just a brief one, how exactly we do the mapping of source to target. So this is a purchase order interface that is coming from ERP and going into Ariba sourcing. In this case, I have just mapped one-to-one mapping to the extrinsic field, and this is a field on the source side, which I'm mapping to extrinsic field. And so once mapping is done, these fields will be populated on the target side. So on the sender side is an IDOC, and on the receiver side it is CXML, because Ariba network understands CXML only. So we have this mapping that we can customize. Although a standard mapping is already available, but to have some sort of enhancement or some sort of custom logic that you want to implement there, you have this tool that is available here. We'll see that it will be a different session. It will be altogether a long session of 1 or 2 days to understand how this mapping works. So these all things are there. Yeah.
Jay, sorry to disturb.
Yes.
Like when
No
you are
problem.
doing one-to-one mapping, say for example, can you prefix 00 for that particular field, or
Exactly.
That is possible.
Yes, yeah, that is possible. You can do that.
Thank you.
Yeah, so all those basic configuration or basic things is already provided by this tool. But yeah, if you're looking for some logic that is not supported through this tool, in that case you'll have to go to Ariba team and you'll ask them if that particular scenario or that particular logic will be supported in Ariba CIG, because they will have to do everything in the XSLT mapping. So this is nothing but a graphical mapping, but backend of this graphical mapping is XSLT mapping, and that Ariba team only has access to. And if you have some requirement that is not accomplished through this mapping tool, then in that case you can just go for uh, Ariba team and ask them that I want this map to be done on XSLT tool. So they will check and the feasibility, and then accordingly they will do that mapping and release it for you. But altogether, say 90% of the requirement you can cover through this particular thing only. But only for 10%, just like in PIP or CPI, for which we have to write Groovy scripting or UDF. Similar is the case with this CAG also. Okay, what was your
Sorry,
question? Yes, yes.
Jay, yeah, Jay, like for example, the receipt
Hmm.
type, right? If you integrate this uh,
Hmm.
PR, right? PR from Ariba to
Right.
SAP, the receipt type,
Hmm.
right? If it is 10 or 4, then there is a rule like the delivery indicator should not go. So those
Okay.
kind of things, how we can
Okay,
do?
so those kind of things you can first you'll have to check the standard mapping specification that is provided by Ariba. So like you're talking about procurement integration. In that case, you're talking about purchase order interface, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
request interface, like where the
mhm.
um, like the receipt type, right? If it is a 10 or 8, then the what to say, delivery indicator, what we call, right? So
Mhm.
GR required that flag should not go to the SAP. So that kind of
Okay, so
requirement.
you are clear. Yeah, so okay, those kind of things also you can configure. I'm not able to understand the exact requirement that you are saying, but yeah, I think those kind of requirement if can also be done in Ariba CAG based on like source condition you have to provide, and accordingly you can populate the target field based on that. Yeah, that
Okay.
those kind of things can be done using custom mapping tool. Initially, these basic things was also not possible in CAG, but now these kind of things I'm not sure what exactly you have told, but based on what you are telling me, I think yeah, those kind of things can be easily interfaced or easily customized using this particular tool. All right, okay. Hey, what is this sound that's coming? Somebody's 1 second. Big deal for me. Okay. All right. So just stop this one. All right. So these are some of the tools that is provided by CIG. We will check on this once we start with the standard integration interface. But just for understanding, these are a deployment guide that is also provided by CIG that you can access from resources tab. These are standard mapping. And in case if you're going for certificate-based authentication, you have two type of certificate that is also provided by Ariba CIG. One is load balancer that you'll be importing into your, or SSL certificate that you'll be importing into your respective S/4HANA system or ERP system. And this certificate is nothing authentication certificate, which will be importing into Ariba system for master data integration. So these all things are provided. You have this test central where you can create your own test script and you can carry out your integration testing using this script. So these all application make this these all feature makes this application a unique one. And I'm telling you, like once you start with the real-time implementation, as if you have worked on other application or other integration too, you will find it quite easier to configure and quite it will be very much easy to understand, and it will also require less effort as compared to other integration approach. But yeah, that being said, Ariba do say that with CIG we can implement using within a week or maybe within weeks, but that's not possible. But yeah, we are somewhat close to few months in terms of implementation. But in case of PAP, we used to take a minimum a year or maybe 6 to 8 months for some implementation. But this has drastically reduced if you're using this cloud integration gateway. Okay, so let me just quickly go into this deployment option, and in this particular slide, I will also cover what is the architecture of this Ariba CIG. On left hand side, what you see is the backend ERP system, and on right hand side we have this Ariba solution that is hosted on cloud, or these are a cloud application that is. So Ariba CIG is also an cloud offering from SAP, and similar is with Ariba sourcing, buying, and Ariba network. So we have three kind of deployment option that is provided for any customer. So first deployment option that we say is a direct connectivity. In that case, you have your backend system in the client landscape, and that will be on-premise or on-premise system, or you can also use on-cloud system. But yeah, that will be the customer system, and in between you have only cloud integration gateway that will come in picture, and this solution will Cloud Integration Gateway will integrate this ERP system to the Ariba solution, be it buying, sourcing, or procurement. So this direct connectivity, when we're talking about direct connectivity, don't confuse it with uh, ERP system is connecting directly with Ariba solution. But in that case, they have put that nomenclature. In that case, that in direct connectivity, we have only one CIG that will be used to integrate this both solution. So for example, if you see here, in case of outbound request, that means the message is going from ERP system to Ariba CIG. We have only enabled this HTTPS protocol, and this message once reaches into Ariba's CIG, based on project configuration, based on routing, this interface or this document is sent to that particular module or that particular transaction in the Ariba. So if that is related to Ariba network or sourcing, that document will be sent accordingly to that particular destination. So this is with case of outbound request. But once it is with respect to inbound interface, in that case, you'll see this cloud connector configuration is also coming into picture. So this is also a mandatory installation for direct connectivity. In that case, you'll have to use this cloud connect in between your cloud, or that is your Ariba CIG, and your backend system, because this provide an extra security, and in that case, it also act as a reverse proxy, so that it only allows the trusted connection to establish the integration between the backend system and a cloud system, because no customer would ever want to expose their ERP data directly to cloud. So in that case, this cloud connector comes into picture, and in cloud connector we do setup of adding sub account and adding integration of the backend ERP system. And the integration between CIG and cloud connector is very important, because once the data comes into cloud connector, if the source of the message is a reliable one, then only cloud connector route it to backend system, else it just ignore that, and it doesn't let it pass through cloud connector to backend ERP system. So in case of outbound connectivity, cloud connector is not needed, because in that case we'll be sending the data, we know what exact data we are sending, and in that case we have this SSL communication, that is HTTPS communication. Will be set it up, will set it that communication by importing their SSL certificate into our key store, and then once the handshaking and everything is done, then only the initiation of the message will start from ERP to Ariba CIG, and from Ariba CIG to Ariba application. These are inbuilt applications, so there is no need to worry about their security, because they are tightly coupled, and there is no such security threat, and they can be easily integrated. So you have to only worry about these ERP to Ariba CIG. In that case, first option is direct connectivity, in which you have Ariba CIG that is coming in between your ERP system and Ariba system. Second deployment option, that is not very recommended one, but again, based on customer to customer, if some customer is so reluctant because they have already used PIPO system in their all implementation, in that case you can also tell them like we also have this particular option in which they can use this SAP PIPO system with Ariba CIG, but this PIPO system will only act as a pass-through. So when I'm talking about pass-through scenario, so no mapping, no logic, nothing will be written in PIPO system. It will only act as a middleware that will route the message from ERP to Ariba CIG, and rest all logic and mapping, transformation, everything will be done on CIG side only, and then CIG will route those messages. In that case, you don't need a cloud connector in the case of second deployment option, because PAPU has a capability of reverse proxy, and it will filter those only those messages that needs to reach into ERP based on configuration. So these are two deployment option, and third one is with CPA. Same thing. If you're not using PAPU, some customer is having a CPA or SCA, that's older name. So you can also make use of CPI with CIG, and in that case also CPI will only act as a pass-through scenario to interface between ERP and backend system. So this is basically the architecture also, and these are the three deployment options that is available for these cloud integration gateway. Any question on this part? No?
Like for example, while we connect the SLP, the MDG will also come into picture. So how
Hmm.
that will be achieved? Because we have a
Okay.
S4 or a ERP in the back end, and sourcing in
Hmm.
the front, SLP and sourcing in the front, and in
Yes,
between
yes,
CH
yes.
is there. Yes.
Okay, fine. So in that case, I will just tell you. So there's two type of deployment option with SLP. Let me just open this notepad 1 second. Yeah. So in case if you're talking about SLP integration, one option is that you configure everything on SM administration, and then the data will come from SM Ariba SLP, and then it will go into CIG, and from CIG it will go into respective ERP system, and then vendor is created, and then this will be replicated back into SLP. So this is one of the deployment or the option, standard option, in which you are using SAP MDG business system, business function, to integrate this SLP module. But what if we are using MDG also? In that case, Ariba SLP will send data. Integration wise, it will remain same, but only thing what will differ there, uh, and with MDG mostly we use in case we have multi ERP system. So in that case only we make use of the MDG, but yeah, you can use for single ERP system. So in that case, Ariba SLP will send data to CIG, and from CIG it will first come into MDG, and from MDG you'll have to set up your interface or integration between MDG to your SAP ERP system. So this is in case of MDG standalone system. But in this case, in the ERP system, MDG for business function will be activated, and you can make use of that business function to integrate this SLP interface. Was that your question?
Yes,
Hello.
Jay. So yeah,
Okay.
yes, Jay. So I need to ask my team like what setup we have done. We have a single
Okay.
ERP system only. So second
Okay.
option or first
Yeah, yeah,
option,
yeah.
I'm
You
not
can.
sure.
Okay. So MDG, if you're using MDG standalone business system, yeah, you can also use that for a single ERP system. So in the SM administration, you have to provide the detail of the MDG system and not the ERP system. So both these deployment options are available in case of SLP integration. All right. If you're good here, then I'll move to next slide. Okay. So these are some of the benefit that we are getting over in CIG with respect to previous integration approach, that you can see here. We have the single application or single solution, one-stop solution for all the integration. But in case of CI9, we have to do so much of configuration. The main differences that I can see here, most of the things is it reduces the integration timeline, and second, with respect to costing, because Ariba CIG doesn't require an extra license. Once you acquire some Ariba product, it will come by default with that particular product. But in case of the CI9 integration, you have to get the license of a also PIPO system, and that installation is also mandatory. So that also reduces costs in case of CIG, and effort and timeline is drastically reduced in case of CIG implementation, and in case of CNI that takes much more time. And one more difference which I have also felt, like CIG can be configured by even a functional consultant, even someone who doesn't have much ideas on the integration part. But for PIPO, you need to be an expert in that particular field to integrate that solution. And you have so many things that is available here, that like all the interface has been enhanced in such a way that you don't need SOAP lookup or RFC lookup. So all these interfaces are provided in Ariba CIG, but in the case of CI9, we have to also depend on RFC lookup to fetch some additional data from the respective ERP system. So these are some of the theoretical things that you can see here. So if we quickly cover these all steps of Ariba CIG, so that is basically covered in 3 steps. First thing is, although within 3 steps you have so many sub steps, but yeah, if you just talk about the high level concept of Ariba CIG, so these are covered in three steps. First one is configuration. In this case, first we'll enable the CIG on the buyer side, and then we'll install this add-on related to respective ERP system. Then we set up the connectivity between ERP and S4HANA system or Ariba CIG. And in case of this, some extension is needed, then the extension is provided by Ariba CIG. On SAP side, you have this BADI provided to enhance your interface, and on Ariba CIG, you have this custom accessibility or custom mapping tool that is also available. And also you have this testing test central, using which you can test your integration cycle. So basically, this is just a high level setup, but if you go inside that, there are sub steps that you have to configure while integrating this solution. These are some of the basic add-on that you need to have for this CIG implementation, and these add-ons are provided as a part of standard out-of-the-box integration, and you have to implement this or install these add-on on your respective ERP system. And these are some of the SAP related configuration that we'll be covering once we start with a regular session on what all things we need to perform on ERP side, what all things we need to do to have this integration setup available between SAP and Ariba CIG. And apart from that, we have also this cloud connector configuration, where this will be a mandatory installation in case we are looking for direct integration between Ariba and your backend system. In that case, cloud connector, it acts as an reverse proxy, and it also connect a secure tunnel between your cloud application and your ERP system. We'll be covering all those things in our session once we start with the regular session on this. Okay.
So basically, we need
Yeah.
add-on to be installed in ERP, then
Yes.
cloud connector, then CIG, right? Okay.
Exactly.
This cloud
So
cloud connector on ERP or
yeah, so the cloud connector you have to install on customer on-premise system. So yeah, there you can install. It can be a separate server, or maybe you can install in the SAP server also. So base system will tell you where exactly you need to install that, and that will act as a link between your cloud application and your on-premise system. And this is a mandatory thing.
okay.
And once we go into that, okay. Transaction tracker we have already seen. In the same way, we have to also check in the SAP ERP system. Also, we have so many interfaces or many transactions that you can use to see the transaction, what all things are coming, what all things are going out of things. That will be covering as our session progress. So any question on this session, or maybe if you have some generic question related to Ariba CIG, you can ask me now. second.
Hello, Kumar sir.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi. Yes. Hello.
I want to ask in a general way that I'm from a, metal management background, and what are the
Hmm.
concept or what are the things which are mostly come into the Ariba if I'm talking about the background.
Okay.
Well, what are the
See
concept that
these
mostly come from?
Okay. So, okay, fine.
Yeah.
All the business document that will be posting there will be the concept of only. So, for example, if you're talking about procurement integration, in that case, whatever requisition you will be creating, those requisition will come into ERP system and will create a purchase order. Then you'll go for good receipt or confirmation or invoicing. So, all these concepts that you have already used in will be used in this Ariba implementation also, because at the end, if you're creating something from Ariba, that will be getting replicated to your ERP system only. That is the case of procurement. Similar with the case of Ariba sourcing also, you have to create RFQ, and once you create this RFQ, then everything will be done on Ariba side, like creation of sourcing project, bidding process, and awarding the supplier. But once that process is completed, then these data, like in the terms of purchase order or contract, will be again sent to ERP system, and you can make use of that data to have your purchase in the next time. So every concept that you have used in mostly related to buying or direct procurement or indirect procurement, or mostly with supply chain collaboration. So those all concepts will be used in Ariba CIG integration, because you have to integrate this document, business document, from one place to other place. So everything will be needed there. Yeah. Uh, was there anything else you were looking for?
Yeah, hi
Oh,
Jay.
thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Who is
Hello.
this?
Yeah, hi
Yeah.
Jay.
Hello.
This is Avinash.
Hi,
Jay,
Avinash.
this is Avinash. Yeah, actually, previously I
Yeah,
have
Avinash.
worked
Yeah.
in SAP background, and from last one
Hmm.
year I was working in SAP Ariba background in a upstream and
Okay.
downstream such as SLP procurement, supplier enablement
Hmm.
P2P. But
Okay.
I don't know the knowledge on. I don't have a knowledge implementation on this integration.
Okay, that's why I'm
Will
there. No, I
Yeah,
will
will you please
make you
cover all
understand.
the
Yeah.
concepts of the thing?
Yes,
And
yes, yes. I will
does
cover end-to-end concept. Yeah.
okay, okay. And we have to do any
Don't worry.
configuration in a supplier's side, supplier system also.
Supplier
Because
system
if the
as in ERP system.
yes, yes, yes. Actually, previously the supplier will use such as the Oracle or JD Edwards another year. Now the
Hmm.
supplier has to do a has to integrate with Ariba system.
Hmm. Okay.
In that case, we has to
Yeah.
do any configuration in
ERP system, right? Yeah, we have to do this
yes.
configuration in ERP system. We have to do configuration on Ariba system. So that's what I'll be covering those things. Don't worry. I'll be covering
Okay,
all
okay.
those
Thank you.
concepts. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome, Bhagnesh. All right, Ramesh. You have any questions?
And Jay, one question from Avinash.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah. Good.
if the supplier needs a, for example, I think this is out of this. If the supplier needs a catalog, and there also I think we have to do any configuration in a supplier system and in a buyer system.
Hey, catalog integration, I'm not very confident on, but I think there is some zip file that you have to load into Ariba catalog, and
Yes.
you can get that information from supplier, and then you can load that. So there's basically a template, a standard template that you'll have to use
Yeah.
and load those templates. And apart from that, you have also integration possibility
The,
from exporting the catalog data from your ERP system to your Ariba procurement. So that also configuration is possible.
yeah, that configuration is also
Yes,
in
yes.
this.
I'll be
Oh,
covering those configuration also.
oh, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Please make it unmute. Okay. Ramesh, I think you can unmute. Okay. 1 second. So yeah, Ramesh, please go ahead.
Not able to make it. Okay, 1 minute. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Ramesh, I can hear you.
Okay. I'm trying to make it unmute. It's not possible on that time. Okay, no problem. Yeah, I have a question about that. What is the main difference between commerce automation and supply chain collaboration, sir?
Okay, so commerce automation and supply chain collaboration both are part of Ariba network integration only, or direct
Correct.
procurement only. But yeah, in commerce automation will be generally covering the basic scenario, like starting from purchase order, will do order confirmation, ASN, and what do you say, then good receipt, and then invoicing part and payment part. But in case of supply chain collaboration, that is a extended form of this commerce automation, in which we'll be covering subcontracting scenario, then we'll be covering this multi-tier purchase order scenario. So those are extended version of the commerce automation.
Okay.
But
One more in
configuration
commerce.
wise, yeah.
Okay, please tell me. Okay.
Yeah, so but in commerce automation, as far as integration is concerned, so most of the setting for commerce automation and supply chain collaboration in the Ariba CIG will be similar, because that will be covered under Ariba's network integration. But yeah, on ERP side and on Ariba network side, buyer and supplier, you'll have to define some other configuration. So that is
Okay.
more of a business understanding than integration understanding.
Okay. One more
Yeah.
question I'm having.
Yes.
Yeah, as a backend system, SAP S/4HANA might be they have a ERP tool, whatever it is. They are creating one
Mhm.
process. Before going to the commerce automation process integration, I'm going
Right.
to ask one more question about quote automation.
Sure. Sure.
Correct. You know.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
As a material planner, her buyer from the behalf of buyer person who will create a purchase
Mhm.
requisition or quotations in the backend system, right? It
Okay.
will
Yes.
it will come to the Ariba network. Correct.
Right. Right.
Yeah, there will be a creating one more sourcing project in Ariba application, right? From the buying organization.
Okay.
Correct.
No. See. No. Wait. So, what I can understand, you are talking about which process? You are talking about sourcing process or
Commerce, no,
uh,
commerce automation process integration.
commerce automation integration process.
Code,
So you
yeah.
are
Before that,
creating a
just one more code automation is there. You know, I think.
yeah, code automation is also there. Yeah. So code automation that you're talking in case if you are enabling this code automation, then whatever code or RFQ that you will be creating from ERP system will be posted to Ariba Network Discovery. Okay, and they that will open to all supplier. They can all
Correct.
see and they can send their response. Yeah. So that is a different
Yeah.
part.
One
Yeah.
more sourcing project also will be created in SAP Ariba application.
No.
I
So
think.
that is a configuration. That is a configuration. So if you're using code automation, you can either enable sourcing integration or you can just disable them. So that is up to you. That is up to customer if they want to have those integration or that integration.
Okay. No,
If you
without sourcing project, Ariba network will find the source of supply or quotation and all.
exactly, they can do that. So that is the
How
concept
it
of
will?
Ariba Discovery. So
Okay,
that
okay,
comes
okay.
under Ariba Discovery. That was will be offered to all the suppliers that are registered on Ariba network. So everyone will get an email based on what commodity or what requirement you have posted. So everyone will get the email and they can respond to that particular thing you're
Okay,
posting. Right.
okay,
So
okay. It will
but
be
in case of
directly.
sourcing project, yeah. But
Okay,
in
please
case
go
of
ahead.
sourcing project creation, in that case you select the supplier, the one which you trust or which you have already onboarded onto your Ariba system. But in that case your business is quite knowing the supplier, like what exactly he is capable of, what is the business transaction with that particular supplier. But in case if there is a huge requirement or immediate requirement for some material, and in that case you don't want to waste your time for this whole process, bidding and then first onboarding supplier and then doing this awarding process. In that case you can just post this requirement in the public network, that is nothing but a Ariba discovery, and from there
Okay.
supplier will bid and accordingly you can select that.
Yeah, because of I to know there is a sourcing project, they have all the functionality like in the sourcing project can
Yeah.
yeah,
So again, so
yeah, we
that
can send
depends
the
from
yeah.
requirement to requirement. Yeah,
Okay. Without sourcing project, we can directly send ask the
exactly,
quotations through the Ariba net
exactly,
discovery, right?
Yes, right.
Okay, it can be reflecting in cloud integration gateway in transaction tracker.
Exactly, yeah, why not?
Okay, in buyer portal,
It,
no.
in buyer portal also, yes.
In buyer portal also, we can
Also,
see
right.
it.
Exactly, you can see that because
Is
you'll
there
be sending
is,
RFQ only.
yes? Is there any modification we can do it in Ariba buying portal?
What kind of modification you are looking?
Like any changes? I wanted to make any changes about that. Whatever the quotations we have sent to the supplier, just I have to make it any changes. Like
Okay,
this
so
is the
that you
requirement.
have to in the data label if you want to look do
We
some
can no one more thing. I
changes.
have can one more thing. I'm going to that.
Yes.
Without no whatever the quotations we have asked in SAP S4HANA only, right? So I'm asking we can do make it any changes in Ariba buyer portal as well. Or else we need to go for it. It should must and should we have to go with SAP S4HANA
No,
only.
yeah. Of course, you have to go into S/4HANA system only. Why I'm saying? Because you should always maintain a single source of truth for any interface. Okay. Like for example, if you are changing something from sending something from Ariba system and then changing it in the Ariba network, then what will happen? Data will not be in sync, and again that will create a problem for you in the future itself. So it's always
Okay.
recommended that source of truth should be one system. Either it can be Ariba
Okay.
or either can be ERP system.
Okay. Whatever the message is transferring to the SAP S4HANA and the Ariba network, there is any specific message type is there?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so mostly from ERP side, this will be either in the form of IDOC or proxy, but in Ariba
Okay.
network, this message type will be of type CXML. I'm talking about integration data type. So this will be CXML because Ariba network understands CXML only.
Okay. Other formats will not understand RS.
Other format Ariba network won't understand, but Ariba will understand. Like if you are integrating Ariba sourcing and procurement, in that case, it also understand WSDL, SOAP, and other languages. But mostly with Ariba network, it is CXML.
Okay. All these are conversations which whatever I had with SAP Ariba application and network and backend ERP tool. Is there any data which will be stored in a particular name? May I know where it will be stored? Like where I
What
need to
data?
check.
Which data
Is
you
there any
want to
data
store?
table?
Exactly.
These are
Based
the
on what
transactions.
transaction you are using. Yeah. So based on what transaction or what document type you are sending, accordingly you can decide which transaction you have to check, which table you have to check. If you are creating purchase order, you will have to go into purchase order table to check that data. If you are creating supplier, you have to
No,
go into supplier
in
table.
SAP S4HANA have a table that facility has given in ERP or S4HANA. But in Ariba
Right.
application, where we can find it, all these?
Okay, so in Ariba application, you have to go into that particular tab, look for those particular document type. Like for example, RFQ, you have to go into order in RFQ and check for those document type there. So it is already available. There is no table that is already available in the UI.
Okay.
So that is a cloud offering, right?
Yes. Okay.
All right, Ramesh, anything else?
No. Supply chain collaboration means it's a enhancement functionality, right?
Exactly. Of commerce
Okay.
automation. It has much more capability than what a normal commerce automation can do. But as far as the process is concerned, it is also between buyer and supplier only.
Okay. In commerce automation, most of into that about upstream only. Like we can send the quotations and the requisition and
No.
PO and all, right?
Commerce automation is not about sourcing RFQ. It is about purchase order, direct procurement. We'll cover
In
that.
buying,
Don't worry, Ramesh.
okay. Okay.
Yeah, we'll cover that. Once we start with the regular session, we'll cover that. No worries.
Okay, fine.
Can we, yeah, anybody else has some question? Or if you're good. Okay.
Hi, Jay. This is Adi here.
Yes. Yeah, hi,
So,
Adi.
yeah. So currently, what happens in our environment? The master data, like vendor, is maintained in ERP, and it
Okay.
has been distributed using master data distribute
Program.
standard CIG program, and it goes to Ariba.
Right.
So we don't have MDG. In case if MDG comes into picture, so the master data will be maintained in the MDG, and how the data will be distributed in Ariba. It will the standard CIG master data distribute program will be available in MDG system, or how it will be distributed in case of we have MDG in the landscape.
Okay. So basically, till today, MDG is only used for SLP integration. For all other master data integration, it's a standard SAP program in which you install the SAP Ariba CIG add-on, and then that provide you a standard program that is Ariba CIG master data export, and from there you can export the master data. But yeah, for example, if you are planning to have MDG for all the master data, in that case, you'll have to create a custom interface to have these integrations visible. On Ariba side, you have the web services. You have to consume those web services to have this integration visible. You will not get any standard out of the box program in case of MDG. You'll have to create it and enhance a program or enhance interface to have this integration visible.
So we'll have to do the enhancement in the MDG system and then extract the master data and send it to Ariba.
Exactly. Got me. And on Ariba side also, you have these web services consume this master data, so you can make use of those web services, just like we have used in case of some custom master data, like you have used in case of ITK, or maybe like regular third-party application integration. It will be similar to that.
Okay, fine. Thanks.
Yeah, hello, sir.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, hello. Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you. Ramesh.
Yeah, sir. Yeah, before going to integrate with backend system with Ariba application, there we have some prerequisites required, right? Like SAP add-on and some one more word I quoted.
Many things are there. Enablement, cloud connector, ERP system configuration, global settings, certificate installation. Many things are there. So we'll cover that, Ramesh. Once we start going through those guide or going through those configuration, I'm hopeful that we'll not have these many questions. So let's wait for that particular session to start, and then it'll cover this. Yeah, because I will answer every question, but again, that will make more sense once we start with the regular configuration, and once we start with the regular schedule, so that you can easily understand what things comes first, what things goes next. So accordingly, I will plan that.
So one more thing, are you covering only CIG part and apart from any other part like about sourcing, contract management, and?
I will be covering end-to-end scenario. Standard end-to-end scenario, ERP side configuration also, Ariba CIG side configuration also, and also Ariba network and Ariba procurement. So whatever is needed for this integration to work, I'll cover those all scenario. But if you ask me to show you approval flow, then I will not be able to do that because that will not be covered.
Yeah, but I know that I have not an issue with that. Approval fund, I'll we have to create, and there is an
exactly. So templates, right. Yeah. So just like template configuration. So these things, I will cover only those things that is needed for integration.
Yeah, template and all this I know, sir. Template designing and how we are going to changes in sourcing project. We can make it in changes in template first before going to create a project, right?
Perfect. Yeah, you're right. So if you're good here, I will just close the session, and thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you for attending the session. I hope you all enjoyed it. Don't forget to visit our Vimeo page and follow for more upcoming videos.